All right, it's 12 p.m. and I will call to order the August 26, 2019 special meeting of the MISD Board of Trustees. Our single agenda item is one, discussion and possible approval of purchase and sale agreement of 116.89 acres located within the city limits of Northeast Midland from Ranchland Golf Partners, LLC. The board will recall that at our June board meeting, we approved the material terms of the purchase of this land, and today's topic, or agenda item, is the specific purchase and sale agreement, which is the next step, which follows what we did in June. Mr. Regan?
Yes, thank you. Again, before you, you have a formal sales and purchase agreement. Document that's approximately 25, 26 pages long. That is in detail between our lawyers and their lawyers to hammer out the details of the agreement that y'all, in theory, approved in June of 24th meeting. The agreement, and I'll go through this very quickly and give you the highlights of it, but if you look on page 4 under Article 3, purchase price was as agreed, $9.5 million.
So on what page?
Page 4.
Oh, section 3.
Look at 3.1 and 3.2, the purchase price is $9,500,000, which is the same amount that was discussed earlier in June. There's money that's we would be expected to come up with this agreement is $250,000 earnest money. That's in 3.2 on page 4. If we go to page 5, there will be a survey that will be required. The title company is page 5 under 4.3 survey. Survey will be required. We have 30 days from the date of both parties signing this agreement to get that title company to get that completed. That's to protect the owner on the title. We have 5 days to review that and have any objections that may need to be cleared up at that time. That's in section 4.4. That would be included in our 30-day inspection period, and then we have 5 days after that receipt to raise any objections that we might find in the survey. We continue through the agreement. Again, another item that if you look on page 11, and I do not know why this is bold, no one's yelling, but page 11, item 7.4, the seller has agreed to pay for a phase 1 environmental survey on this property, and it is with a Jim Honeycutt at Highlander 2 LLC, and we have 5 days after receipt of that phase 1 environmental survey. We have 5 days to raise any objections that we may find on that. Continue through the agreement.
Is there a phase 2, or is that just?
Phase 1 is all we're required, unless we find something in due diligence in phase 1 that
Okay.
bring attention of requiring phase 2. That's part of that inspection period and objections that we may raise during the inspection period. Okay. Page 13, closing. After the end of the 30-day period, we would, and we find no complaints in the survey or phase 1, we have 5 days basically for closing, or 10 days in the event that the survey is not completed by the title company. Title company is ready on board, they're ready to proceed even as we speak now. That process is ongoing. Page 15 is an item that was discussed. This is at closing. There is a 9.2C, top of the page, on page 15. This is possession and lease back, as we agreed in the original intent. The seller will retain possession of the property under a lease back. Part of this agreement, they will be able to lease the property back for $1 per year, and until November 1st, 2020. We would take possession on November the 2nd, 2020. However, at that time, if we feel that we need to continue leasing the property, in the middle of that paragraph, you'll see that buyer at buyer's option may extend the lease termination date annually by written notice to the seller, and the terms are located there. But this option is entirely at the buyer, MISD's option to continue the lease. And then if you continue all the way down at the bottom, it indicates that either party, the very last sentence of that paragraph, either party may terminate the lease agreement on 30-day written notice to the other.
So we're still saying, maybe I'm reading it right on, it's 15%. So we're still saying after that point, if something if the bond didn't go, that we could lease that back to them up to 15%.
That's the terms of the agreement if we elect to lease it back.
Okay.
It's at the buyer's option. If that's not agreeable, then other options could be discussed with other parties. The only other item on here that I would bring to your attention, the correction that need to be made on page 22, and it's just a correction. Middle paragraph, it says title company acknowledges receipt of the buyer's earnest money. That figure needs to be changed from $19,000 to $250,000. That is the overall highlights of the agreement. We have been in discussion with attorneys and and Mr. Davis and Mr. Riddick and myself on this for quite some time. We have word from the client's attorney, Mr. Strain, that their clients have seen this agreement, this revised agreement, as you have today, and that they are they feel confident, that he feels confident that they will sign this agreement. With that in mind, if there's a motion that would be made to approve this purchase and sale agreement, I would move to the cover page and look at the motion that would be made here. And I would ask that you consider including the second line. This would give action to the Board of Trustees authorizing Mr. Riddick.
Front page.
The agenda cover.
Cover page. We would give Mr. Riddick the authorization.
You mean the second sentence? The
Second sentence,
yes.
I'm sorry.
And the vote of the motion.
Did say on the 8th on the 5th?
Suggested.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, in any motion, I would suggest that you include the second sentence of that item to allowing Mr. Riddick to be given the authority to sign any and all sales agreements, contracts, closing documents legally required for the purchase of this land. That I end my,
Okay, I'll read the whole motion would be best.
I think it, yeah.
Okay, I move to approve the purchase and sale agreement as presented to purchase an approximate 116.89 acre parcel of the land from a ranch and a golf
Just
course.
pause this for a minute, Mr. Bishop, it's 116. I think I already said 1,100.
No, I said 116.89.
Okay.
116.89 acre from the ranch and golf course, Partners LLC. at a cost of $9,500,000. This action by the Board of Trustees authorizes Orlando Riddick, Midland ISD Superintendent to sign any and all sales agreements, contracts, and closing documents legally required for the purchase of this land.
All right, motion by Mr. Bishop. Second. Second by Mr. Marquez. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. With Mr. Kennedy and Mr. Truschetti are absent, but the remaining 5 board members who are present voted in favor of the purchase. That concludes our special meeting. That being the single agenda item, we're adjourned at 12:11 p.m. Thank you.
Thank y'all.